Hey guys, it's Penelope in London. What I'm going to teach you today, if you don't know already, what a solar return is. So what happens is in astrology, you can see here, this is my astrology chart. And we basically have a situation that every year, you can see here, this is my astrology. So every year we have our solar return. And what that means is that it's our birthday. So if you can see the sun, this is a day after. My birthday was 2 days ago, actually, a day and a half ago. And the sun is literally on my sun's 0 degrees. And this is just now coming up to 2 degrees here. And what it means is that we're able to plan our year ahead and see what's taking place by our solar return. So this is my natal chart. And on the outside of the wheel, we have the current transits. So the current transits and the rising sign then are calculated when the sun returns to the same degree as our natal placement, which is, you can see mine is 017 there, then and also our location will then define what the solar chart will be for the year ahead. So you can basically then, on AstroSeek also, but astro.com here, you can see that this is then going to be my solar return. So let's go back to this one. You can see that the sun is in Gemini and it's just here. And you can see, for instance, we've got Venus, which is on my moon at the moment, which is quite beautiful for me. And then we've got also, we can see that these planets are, we've got the North Node, we have Venus, and we have Mercury. I'm going to give you an example as we change over to this chart. So what you can see here, that my rising sign for the year, although I'm Scorpio rising, is going to be for the year ahead, it's going to be Aries rising at 17 degrees. Now, remember, I just pointed out on my other chart, the transits were the North Node, Venus, and the Mercury here. You can see that that's where they're falling. And my sun at 017 is falling in my second house here. And it's falling in the sign of Gemini just there, because that's where the degree is, 0 degrees. And when we look then at the chart for the year ahead, you can see here, it's not calculated at the exact time of my birth because this is my birth time up here, but the return of the sun to the solar position for 2021, 2022 was 3:35 a.m. for me. So then let's share here. What I'm going to show you now is solar fire. And we're going to go to this page. All right, so this is the chart. You can see I said the sun was there. So when we pull this stuff up, then we know the year ahead, what's going on. So if I look, my sun, this is what you want to do. You want to, if you need help with this, I'll put a message below the video and then I'll tell you what the link is. And if you need help, then you can always, if you get stuck with that, then just ask in the comments below. So my sun is going to be in the second house for me at 0 degrees. You see here, 0 degrees 16. And basically, this is where that my self-esteem is a major issue for my year ahead. And it can either be boosted or challenged. And being challenged is not a bad thing. We don't want to be all egocentric. And then it's about my personal values and my self-belief. And when we're tested, actually, on our self-belief, it can make us stronger and wiser. So being tested is not always a bad thing. It's also where my money matters are going to be in focus and where I'll be revising spending patterns, preparing, budgeting, adjusting, and planning for my future. And it's also to do with our career and work situation and where we may get more remuneration or study a course that furthers income opportunities. Now, what's very interesting, I decided before I even looked at my solar chart that I'm going to go for a diploma in hypnotherapy this year. So that's an example where I'm boosting already. I was in that frame of mind that I'm boosting my work situation for more income opportunities down the road as I move through my life, because the diploma is going to take some time to do in hypnotherapy. So then we've got, it's also where I will become conscious of my need to plan for my own financial future, which is where I'm at in my life at this time. And this theme will also include my living personal values and marching to the beat of my own drum, which is very true. It's like, how do I care for myself now? And also it will be where I'll be reassessing goals in the light of events during the year. So as the year moves through, but this is different to our, this solar chart is the solar return, but we've also got our own transits going on as well on the normal chart. So that sun is in Gemini, and this means, you can see here, it's in Gemini. It's almost, it's in a weak conjunction with Lilith, and it's also in a weak 28, actually 26, that's 4 degrees apart from this here as well. This sign is called Hamal. This is a fixed star, so we won't take any notice of that today. Then what we would do is what is that sun doing? But mainly what we want to know is that sun, where is the ruler of the sun? So what is the ruler of the sun? The ruler of the sun rules Leo, the ruler is Leo. And where is that on the chart? That's what we'd be looking to. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, it's in my 5th house. So with that sun in the 5th house, this means that what I'm doing here with that sun, it's going to be working out its way in the 5th house, which means I'm going to be doing it through creativity, which I am. I'm creating creativity with my meetup group for my ladies that I do free twice a week. I'm creative with my astrology. I'm creative making YouTubes, and I'm also creative in writing. So this is brilliant. Then we look at the North Node as well. The North Node is in the sign of Gemini. So this also would mean that I'm going to be doing it through communications because it's the 3rd house. But definitely with the sun in Gemini, it's basically where I will be doing, you know, there'll be many activities and I'll be very busy. And also it's where I can be scattered. So I've got to watch out for being scattered, because you can start so many things with it being in Gemini and not finish things. But communication is going to be a key element in my year ahead. And it will be lively conversation, study, telephone calls, traveling, you know, to various destinations, and also, you know, not outside the UK clearly, but we'll see how that one goes. And then it's also being lively as well, and there can be some chaos with it because Gemini is all over the, you know, all over the place as well, but it won't be dull. That's the great thing. So then if we look at the, and remember that that sun, what you always want to do with your solar return, wherever the sun is, you want to look for the ruler of the sun. Yeah, and that's my 5th house. So then we've got also that the moon is in Virgo for me in my 6th house. So the 6th house is to do with work and routines, and it's to do with you know, organizing things, and also health and well-being. So the moon in the 6th house will be where I'm focusing on my health and well-being, which I've already been doing as well. I've been doing various things. I started doing a 20-minute exercise regime every day. You know, I'm doing lovely things as well, looking after myself. And it's where I will be motivated with that moon to change any bad habits and work on any underlying psychological problems that may be related to them. And it's where I will feel good about adopting a healthier lifestyle, which I'm doing. And also I will seek, you know, it's where I will be speeded up in seeking medical advice if I need, because I'm living a healthy lifestyle. So I'll be more aware of my body. And it's also where I'll reflect on the lifestyle that I have and what's beneficial to my emotional well-being. You know, looking at, is this too stressful for me? Am I interested in this? And also it can be where I'm motivated to change jobs or rearrange my working environment and become involved with co-workers or start new work, a training program, which also I'm doing. I'm starting, you know, course. And also I want to build a website this year as well. So the moon in Virgo indicates a year where one takes charge of one's own life, and where I get practical about personal matters, tackling responsibility and taking control. And this is to do with reorganization. There can be sacrifice of immediate emotional needs and some hard work involved, and it will be a busy year. And if it's, you know, using our common sense, because planning schedules and getting on with things, and also making decisions about plans ahead and analyzing things, because this is what Virgo is, you know, it analyzes things. And the 6th house is to do with work and routines, and it's where we're disciplined and ready to exchange bad habits, and the need to eat more healthily, which I started doing a few weeks ago. I eat healthily anyway, but I added a few things to my diet that I realized that I was missing, that my body needed. And then this is a great guide for us. Yeah, I'm doing this so that you can understand how maybe you can look at your own charts. So stick with this. And then we've got, if you know, with that busyness, I'm also busy with the Gemini stuff as well, and communication, loads of communication there. The Mercury in Gemini, it's like where I'm thinking very quickly, and because it's the air sign and it's about gatherings and stimulation. So I'm doing lots of Zoom meetings with my meetups with my ladies, and also juggling many different activities. But I've got to watch that I don't get too distracted by social events, otherwise I won't be able to concentrate. So I've got to make sure that I'm having boundaries as well in order to get things done, because we can get lost in reading and researching. And it's also delegate what I can, and don't try to talk my way out of my troubles, or, you know, make sure that I don't have a sharp tongue with that in 3. It's a good time for networking and improved communication. So there you go. You know, it's sort of a year for me about communicating. And Venus, you see there also in the 3rd house. So this is about my love of learning, exploring my local neighborhood, interacting with friends, and, you know, delightful conversations and connections, and happiness and harmony, and where I would like to mediate, you know, with others, so that there's get rid of the disharmony. It's where I can be more sensitive this year to any harsh words of criticism. And it's also where I will seek loving and supportive communication from a partner, or it says it might look elsewhere, for instance. So you can see that that's beautiful for me. I'm really pleased with this, that North Node, which is the path, is conjunct to the Venus, which is really beautiful. And I feel quite blessed to have that this year. But then we'd start looking at the aspects as well, because the aspects are the way the planets talk to each other. So you can see that with the moon, I have a square to my Venus, and I have a square to my Mercury there, and not quite the North Node, but, you know, that could be pulled in as well. So there will be some tension, but I think we've all got that going on at the moment. And we've also got this Uranus square to Saturn, which we've all got collectively as well. And this year very much is push-pull as well. But once we understand what's going on, we can work with it, because the planets are not doing anything to us as such. They're giving us, they're a guideline to, you know, making the unconscious conscious. That's how I see it. So then I've got Mars in the Venus in the Gemini. You know, this is where I will, you know, I want stimulation, and it's about money matters, and I'm eager to communicate, and I want quality two-way communication, and I want that met. So that's, you know, that's important to me this year. Generally it is anyway with me, but I seem to be a lot more chatty the last couple of weeks pre coming into this solar return. Mars in the 4th house, you can see here, is in Cancer for me, and in the sign of Cancer. So it's where it won't be all tranquil and settled at home this year, and I'll be very busy, and maybe I won't have a moment's peace and quiet. So I'm going to have to make sure I take that time to myself, and also where people come and go, dropping in and out. But that's probably maybe on communications, because we're still in lockdowns and we don't know where we're heading with that. I've also got that, you know, there may be, won't be renovating my own home, but it's also where I could be wanting to change home this year, and to seek a peaceful environment, and expect, you know, that it could be tense, basically. There could be battles or whatever, but we can look at that for ourselves. But it's also where I might be working out at home, and I'm doing, and I haven't got a garden, so I'm not doing any gardening there, but that could lead to that as well, you know, sort of putting our energy, because Mars is the more conscious than Pluto, and Pluto is our unconscious, and so Pluto is like the ocean, and then Mars is like the wave. It's like the action. I've also got quite beautifully, let's see, Venus and Gemini, Mars. Then we've got Jupiter. It's where, this is quite lovely. Jupiter in the 11th means that I'm going to be working with groups of people, help with my friends, and doing things with others. And that's where I'll attract fortune this year. Fortune doesn't have to just be money. It can be many different things. It can be, dealing with people that are helpful to me, and being popular amongst people and having emotional support. So success is not just about money. And then we've also got the Saturn in the 11th house as well. So it's where my social circle is shifting, because it's in the sign of Aquarius. And this is due to me changing work. And it's also, it could result in changes in my own heart and mind of what I'm doing. And it's where I'm discovering who my true friends are, and who the people who will last in my life. This is, generally people are shifting in my life, and that I'm okay with that. And it's time where I'll reflect on the difference in my friendships and the social calendar and my local network, and reassess my standing in the community, and whatever community that is that I'm in, social media, YouTube. It's also where I'll interact in community groups with integrity, and because that will be important, and being, steadfast and being true to my own self, and to be my own friend to myself as well. And because the 11th house is hopes and dreams. Uranus in the first house made me smile, with that Aries rising up there. That Uranus is where I'm going to break free of, because Uranus is breaking free of restrictions and limitations. And it's about being authentic and true to yourself, which I feel I am at this point in my life as I've developed and my own consciousness. And it's where I'm going to go through minor adjustments. I might change my physical appearance. I don't know how, who knows? But I'm working out. So that's in part changing that, making my body stronger. And then it's where I will, I could move again. That comes up twice. So maybe I am moving home in the next year. I don't know yet. I probably would under particular few circumstances. So we'll see. And it's starting a new training that lights my fire again. That's another thing that I'm up to, with the hypnotherapy I'm looking forward to. It could be something else as well, though, who knows? I'm also writing a book with a friend of mine on understanding the narcissism within society, and looking at charts where that shows up, because this is very important in society right now, that we tone down our own narcissism and become, more, with the Pluto moving into Aquarius, being less ego orientated, less self orientated, in the hopes of the dreams of the collective. Well, I think with Pluto in Capricorn, that's quite egocentric, and also to do with patriarchal rule and the mask that people wear, the face we give to the world. And we're going from Pluto being in the sign of Capricorn for the last 20 years, since 2008, and it's leaving there in 2024. So we've got big shifts going on. And then that Uranus is also where I need to be free to follow my own heart. And I need to, the reflection, it will reflect through my life. And I'm discovering my true nature. So it's about being true to myself this year. And I feel that I am. So I'll just add to that. My Neptune in the 12th house, I will need time away from people because I will be sensitive. I'm quite sensitive anyway, because I have that natally in my natal chart on my South Node on my ascendant. So I do tend to feel everything. And I don't mean that we all feel things, but I do watch that. I do need to watch what I take in. I don't need too much negativity in my life, I can tell you. I sort of can't deal with the news and stuff, but I do follow what I need to follow to know what's going on in the world. And this is where I will need to tune out at times. So I've got to make sure that I'm tuning out at regular intervals. So I have to figure out how I'm going to do that for myself, for my own well-being. And it's where my capacity, compassion and love and understanding will deepen, which is quite beautiful. The Pluto in the 10th is very good. Also, it's a date with destiny. It's influencing my life direction. And it's about my influence in my role in the world and my authority in my own field. And also it could be to do with soul searching and looking at whether I'm satisfied with my current career and the path I'm on. And matters of power could be prominent in my profession or with my work, for instance, or what the work I want to do in the world, as I want to help people solve their early trauma and understand that. That's part of my training that I want to do to further my understanding. It's also where, it's about work. It's about our place in the world. More Chiron, the wound. hypersensitivity. In the 12th house, I looked at that and I was a bit concerned about that, but I don't feel overly concerned, because Chiron bestows the ability to transcend circumstances and get out of our own complacent comfort zone into a new way of liberating and understanding maturity and confidence. That's the purpose of the purpose of Chiron. But Chiron is in Aries, we know that much, which is we can feel very wounded in a sense of self, but we have to be a warrior at this time. We have to know what we're going for. And I don't mean in financial ways, I mean on a soul journey and healing ourselves first. So in a positive note with that, in the 12th house, I may find that I have a small talent that I'm previously unaware of and where doors can open, or I may be brave and attempt something unknown, which I've previously been afraid to try. I could also discover that my psyche has been able to heal from negative life events, which I feel that I've been working on as well. So where I discover that it's important for my psyche that I find some time to heal from negative life events. It's also where, if we ignore things, this is just the thing that, again, making the unconscious conscious. It's like, if I ignore taking care of myself, then there could be problems, but I know that I'm looking after myself. So we want to get rid of bad habits at this time as well, because bad habits, who needs them, hey? And then the North Node in Gemini is the journey involves communication networks, and spreading the word about anything new. It's time for me to speak up, and also it gives me a voice, my message, whether it's verbal, written, via the internet. And my life's journey is about to reveal in ways where I can express my true self. So this is a really beautiful chart, actually. And we know the aspects are gonna, that it's pull, it's all, we get triggered, we remember stuff from the past. We've got no control over some things, but we do have free will, and via our consciousness, we have free will in which way, whether I'm going to cross the road at this juncture, or I'm going to cross it at another juncture, what food am I going to put into my body? Who am I going to have in my close circle? What boundaries do I have for myself? Are they healthy? Am I being my true self? Am I allowing myself to express myself fully? So there you go. So the squares, we deal with those as they come. And this is beautiful. I'm going to come back in a couple of days. We've got the lunar eclipse coming up on the 26th. We have Saturn going retrograde tomorrow, I think it is. Let's see, I'll move this chart ahead, actually. This is my solar chart, so don't get confused, but I just want to see when because I will see the transit. There you go, Saturn station. See the little S there? So Saturn stations to 23rd, okay? Saturn stations to go retrograde until October, back to 6 degrees. We've got the Mercury's going retrograde on the 29th for 3 weeks. And we've also got the lunar eclipse. And then we've got on the 5th of June, we have Pluto in opposition to Mars opposition Pluto. So I'm going to do some work on that too. So I've got a few videos coming up. Catch you later. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks.